welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for die-hard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. A big shout out to my subscribers, and if you love the Bengals, be sure to bang that subscribe button. If you're a die-hard fan and you want to be a part of Notification Squad, be sure to hit that notification button. And if you think that the Bengals will get a win this weekend, be sure to like this video. So I wanted to do a scouting report, and this is something that you guys will look forward to seeing that I do as the season progresses. And at first, I wanted to break down the Colts. We have to know the enemy, right? So obviously the biggest piece for the Colts is back with Andrew Luck returning, coming off of a shoulder injury that was, I'm pretty sure you heard about it. I don't know who hasn't heard about it, but he's back. And another big move was that the Colts moved on from Chuck Pagano and actually brought in former Eagles offensive coordinator Frank Wright as their head coach. And so the Colts are in somewhat of a reset as well. Not really a full rebuild, but a reset. And to kick things off, has to start with Andrew Luck. He had an up and down preseason, but the Bengals should expect to line up across from the guy who in 2016 passed for 4,000 yards, threw 31 touchdowns, and only had 13 interceptions. And obviously the Colts are a better team with Luck under the helm, and they can be even better with Frank Wright, who basically was with Carson Wentz, who had him on an MVP trail. And so he may have to knock off a little bit of rust this game, but I think Luck should be ready to ball. The next biggest thing that's talked about in Indianapolis, and one of the reasons why Luck was injured, was the offensive line. And the offensive line for the Colts has still looked pretty shaky during the preseason, but they have added some youthful talent in recent years with Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly. So it seems like their left side might be okay, but I can't wait to see what the Bengals defensive line can do against the Colts offensive line and see if they can exploit them. And I can't wait to see two particular matchups: Geno Atkins versus Quentin Nelson and Andrew Billings versus Ryan Kelly. That could be where this game is won. The game is won in the trenches, so that will be one or two good matchups that I look forward to. Shifting gears, Marlon Mack didn't practice on Monday, and he's listed as questionable for Sunday's game. But when he's healthy, Mack is like the unquestioned starter at running back for the Colts, and he can be quite explosive in the run game. And if Mack can't go, then the Bengals should expect to see this rookie that they have by the name of Jordan Wilkins. Now, Wilkins only averaged 2.8 yards per carry on 27 attempts during the preseason, but he did have some success in the passing game. He's been compared to Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, and he's more of a finesse runner that kind of shies away from contact. At receiver, it all starts with Pro Bowl wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, and he's looking to rebound from a down year in 2017. It'll be interesting to see which corner lines up against him. Last season, it was Drake Kirkpatrick. But one guy that I kind of have on my radar, and I think the Bengals need to have on their radar, is second-year wideout Chester Rogers. I think the third year for this guy, he's ready to explode, and he could give the Bengals some issues not only in the return game, but in the passing game as well. And as I reviewed some of the Colts preseason games, Rodgers definitely jumped off the screen. The other wide receiver that I think could emerge is Ryan Grant, who emerged for the Colts as their number 2 receiver and is a guy that has some pretty reliable hands. One spot of strength that the Colts could exploit is with their tight ends. Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron could form to be quite the tandem. And Ebron really impressed me this preseason, and he seems to have caught on in Indianapolis after pretty much being a wash in Detroit. On defense, the Colts have converted to a 4-3, and I think that their best two players that stood out to me look to be defensive end Jabal Sheard and safety Malik Hooker. And most Bengals fans know who Malik Hooker is. He came out of O State, and the Bengals will have to make sure not to have him force any turnovers. At linebacker, they have a second-round pick by the name of Darius Leonard. He will man that position, and then ex-Bengals defensive end Marcus Hunt will also be starting for them at defensive end. But overall, this Colts team is pretty solid in some areas, but they're also susceptible in others. And later on this week, I will dive into matchups to look out for between the Bengals and the Colts. But as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.